While the bundles of hair and shelves of oils at beauty supply store Pink Noir are miles away from President Donald Trump's tariffs overseas, in Memphis, Tennessee, owner Chastity Monroe says price hikes will soon hit close to home. There are so many different products in this store. Yes. Where do you get most of them from? Are they manufactured in the United States?
No. So I like to say the entire store really exists in the international trade, right? About 90% of the items are sourced from China.
From China specifically?
Yes.
When President Trump imposed a 145% tariff on imports from China, Monroe says her vendors hiked prices, and the increase will soon hit her store shelves. I normally have a short afro.
Yeah.
Right now, I've got about 4 packs in for my braids.
Yeah.
How much would that cost with tariffs?
Yeah, so, just like a pack of hair like this, that would be $6.99. So this could very well be double the price.
So a lot of these increases are ultimately, it sounds like, going to the consumer.
Absolutely.
In the United States, black hair care is estimated to be a $2.5 billion industry, and loyal customers are bracing for impact.
I know they talk about everything else, but I want to know about the hair products.
This is important for Black women, especially our beauty, our hair. Sometimes we may not even be able to get a job if we don't look a certain way.
Foreign suppliers are critical to small businesses like Monroe's. Some vendors encouraging buyers to take advantage of the now 90-day pause on tariffs for other countries, like Cambodia, where Butter Baby Hair Imports owner Shadara McGilberry sources her products.
We're not passing that on to the customers at the moment.
Do you expect that to change?
Most definitely. It's definitely going to have to change. If it doesn't change, we'll end up going out of business.
Economist Trevon Logan says many Black-owned mom-and-pop shops aren't in a position to adjust to a global trade war.
The smallest fish in the largest possible pond does not have that sort of negotiating power. The second problem is you think one of the things that you would do is buying a lot of things now before the tariffs hit. But if you're a small business, you don't have a lot of space to stock all of that inventory.
We've heard from the Trump administration that the end goal is to, in part, bring manufacturing back to the U.S. You've said that because of some of the pricing, you might bring these products, the manufacturing, to the country. So is it working?
I think it is working, but it's not working. So it becomes unaffordable.
At Pink Noir, Monroe also sells her own hair care line. Since the tariffs, she's explored making the products here in the United States.
The minimum order quantities are astronomical for a small business.
And I've been struck that throughout this conversation, often you've had a bit of a smile. But when we talked about sort of the risk to your business, that smile did fade a bit. And I wonder, how has this felt for you as a small business owner?
There's absolutely fear. But I will say this, we are resilient. I come from a resilient people. For me, this is legacy. It's not just a beauty, a place where people are getting pretty. This is a community thing. So all of the work we've all done as a community then goes down the drain. And that's what I'm fearful of.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News.
Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Yahweh be the true name, Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai be the name of His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone, Tasha's truth and will well. And salutations to hopefully Christian's truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh Sat, because listen to the spirit power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Get another update in times and events. So you've seen the video clip going
it's
into
not working. So
going into these different beauty supply stores are about to be massively hit, and it's going to affect
A lot of things now before the
the Judite woman, which is the so-called black woman of the Hebrew Israelites. They're the biggest, largest consumers of this, but also just Israelites in general, because it's not only Judah that does this, but even Issachar is big into buying, extensions and weaves and different hair colors and dyes, and just the Israelite women in general, they do a whole lot to their hair. So really this is judgment, because all this stuff, man, in the store is wicked. That whole industry is very, very wicked. The process of even making this stuff is so highly toxic, it's ridiculous, man. And I learned that from a woman that I was pretty cool with for a little bit. You know, she was heavy into, you know, braiding in the hair industry, and so she was telling me about all that. But I knew it was already poisonous and stuff, but I didn't know to the extent of how bad the toxic stuff, all this stuff comes from and is made. You know, and it's still spiritually poisonous too, even if you use natural hair, which is that's kind of gross to me. I could never wrap my hand around it. How somebody could take some hair that was cut off of another person's head that had been sweated in and all this other stuff, and then they braid it into their own hair. That's just like, I mean, that's just gross, man. I don't see how women like that shit, you know. But if you Israelite women would actually have a clean diet according to the scriptures, you know, keeping the Levitical diet, and would take care of your health and just let your hair grow instead of doing so much shit to it all the time, you know, pressing it permanent and snatching it and pulling it out and stuff, then, you know, you wouldn't need to buy all this shit because your hair is extremely, you know, sexy on its own, man. There's nothing like, you know, coming across, you know, specifically Judite women that just have like a really big afro, man. That shit is such a turn on for men. You have no idea, man. You know, just your natural hair, you know, just braid it. You know, your hair was given to you for a covering, and your hair, you know, your hair that you go is a representation of the husband that you're with too. So when you're putting all this fake shit in, you're just showing that you're a fake individual, and, you know, you're basically insulting the man that you're with if you have one. Okay, and there's a movie that came out, a horror movie that came out not too long ago, you know, which really exposed this industry too, and how there'd be a lot of demons and stuff preyed on this type of shit, and you guys put it on your head. You know, you're putting, you know, spirits on you. Okay. Here we go, here. It's called Bad Hair. I started a while back, but I never just really got into it to finish watching it. But you know, getting them sew-ins and stuff like that. This should be putting spirits on you. You're getting people that a lot of times these are kids in other underdeveloped countries, and other people just are literally forced to just have their head shaved every day for this industry. You know, just for you to go buy the damn hair from them, man. It's pretty gross, man. To me, it's no difference if you just snatching it off of somebody's corpse's, you know, head. I mean, it's disgusting. You know, there's a lot of spirits and shit that's involved within that industry, and you know, you have our people, our women are the biggest consumers of it, and it's made. The shit is imported and made by heathens, and they don't care. They don't have your best interests at heart. They don't care about you, man. You know, so wearing these wigs, you know, and these weaves, all that shit is off. I'm gonna grab it within the scriptures, okay? This is 1 Timothy 2:9. It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Now, what does that word adorn mean? Okay, make more beautiful or attractive. Okay, it can also go into self-respect. Okay, so if you want to make yourself more beautiful, then you do so in modest apparel. Okay, modest dressing or behaving to avoid impropriety or indecency. Okay. Limited amount. Neither bold nor self-assertive. Modest nature. Okay, let's go into, it says in line 3, observing properties of dress and behavior decent. Okay, which wearing weaves and fake ass hair and wigs, you know, it's a mockery. It's indecent. You know, that's one thing. When people record somebody, you know, a lady, she might be wearing a wig and somehow it fall off. You know, she's always made the laughing stock. She's always a laughing stock, but it's never a laughing stock if you know, you just have someone that's wearing their natural hair and it's a decent hairstyle. Like there's nothing added to it. It's just, you know, well kept and clean. It's never a laughing stock. But anytime you find out a woman got a wig on, Everybody cringes and disgusts when they see her pull it off. Like, oh, it just doesn't look right, man. Okay, so there's nothing modest about wearing that fake ass shit. It says with shamefacedness and sobriety. Okay, so shouldn't be proud. And a lot of times people have the weaves on, they get them extensions and their hair is extra long, so that makes them feel some type of way. And they get to flipping it and, walking with the high heels, chin all up, just proud, man. It's not shamefacedness and sobriety, going into sober, not going to get your hair done. You spend $200-$300 for all these wigs and extensions and shit, and you're getting drunk and going club hopping and shit, man. It says not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Right? So you're not respecting yourself for having all this stuff. And I look at that word braided. Okay, braided means embroidered or decorated with needlework or sometimes specifically braided. What they call them sew-ins. They'll literally get a wig, sewed into their damn scalp. So you don't respect yourself by having all that stuff. Now, having braids, that's okay. That's cool, especially if it's all your braids are from your hair. There's no need to be putting somebody else's hair on your head. Women in the ancient world, they didn't need to do that shit, man. Why? Because they took care of their bodies, their health, and they were living right and following the commandments to the best of their ability. And they just, from a young age, from a young girl, they just kept their hair natural, man. They just let it grow, comb it, wash it, braid it, unbraid it, and just let it grow. Okay? Well, that's another thing too. Dreadlocks or locks. Locking your hair. That's a heathenistic custom. And it's to honor the god Shiva. Stop doing that shit. Shouldn't be getting dreadlocks either, man. And it's also, you're just matting your hair. It's a bunch of dead hair just getting matted and matted and matted. It's unclean. So you're not supposed to be having that either. So you should be focusing on all these damn extensions, wigs, and weaves, and focusing on all this costly array. You don't respect yourself, and you don't adorn yourself in that way, in that manner, what the scripture is saying. Okay? Now you got this prophecy is coming in with this famines, but also, money's getting ready to be hit. The Lord said he was going to take away all that stuff. So this is the beginning stages that we're seeing. And women, and our Israelite woman, the Judite woman, she's very proud at being able to buy all this shit and do all this stuff to her hair. She'll go pay hundreds of dollars and get these braids and then get fake stuff extended into it. And that's off. It's like every hairdresser, they be doing that shit. It's like they automatically do it. I used to have a wife, she had really, really long, natural hair, man. She went in to go get her hair braided. It's like the lady automatically wanted to put extensions in her hair, even though her hair was like already down her back. She still wanted to put the damn extensions in. It's just off, man. It says, moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion, Isaiah 3:16, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and menacing as they go and making tickling with their feet. So haughty. Let's dissect this scripture here. See what this means. Arrogantly superior and disdainful. The arrogance, that proud look. Woman that thinks too highly of herself. That look at me and I'm cute and I'm better than you. You try to give them a compliment. Hey, you're pretty. I know. Oh, I can't stand that shit. Just say thank you. Or you just sit there staring in the mirror. Ooh, I look good. That's that proud stuff. The Lord don't like that spirit. Now, it's one thing to be confident and be glad, if you look okay. A lot of these women, they go off the way to dress up to get a lot of attention and to be seen. And that's not discreet. And that's not shamefaced. Okay? It says, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. So they have their necks all stretched out. They switching as they walk down the sidewalk. And you know what they're doing? Them eyes is just looking left and right and all around. Constantly locking eyes with a bunch of different men. Okay, that's them wanton eyes. And they may have a man right there on their arm. She might be holding his arm, walking with him. And meanwhile, she's checking out other men walking by. That's off, man. walking and menacing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet, right? Because they got all them ankle bracelets and jewelry and, and clicking with the heels, click, 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 walking. You can hear them walking down the road. The Lord ain't with none of that. None of that. The Lord does not like a woman that likes to be seen and goes out her way to get extra attention and she's showing her body off. That's a prostitute, man. You're prostituting yourself. And the Lord isn't with it. So he says he's going to tell you what he's going to do because our women act like this. It says, therefore, Yahweh will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. So he'll begin to fuck your hair up. Okay? You'll begin to get that disease of the hair where you have a lot of balding. Because a lot of you bring it upon yourself too, because you do all them, them weaves and you gluing and shit, gluing wigs and shit to your head, and you destroying your hair follicles and ripping them out. Or in some cases, because you have such a dark, evil spirit of whoredom and taking advantage of men, the Lord just caused your hair not to grow like that. And that's why you got a lot of so-called black women diving into that industry, because the Lord has punished them. He has smitten them with the scab of the crown of the head. So their hair being, to the stage that it could be, they get cursed. So you get your hair start falling out. You'll get matted up. Next thing you know, they don't know what else to do but just cut it all off. And that's highly unattractive too. Nobody wants a bald-headed woman. Men like to feel that essence and that softness and that relaxation feeling of a woman's hair, touching him, especially like on his chest. He's laying next to her. Her hair is long. He can run his fingers through it. It's part of giving us rest. So it's important. Okay, it says, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. So that goes into sexually transmitted diseases. A lot of y'all walk around here spreading chlamydia like it's fucking the ice cream stand. You walk around here with, with herpes and shit like that. And you got it and you're not saying nothing. You're just giving it out to men. You don't have gonorrhea, syphilis, and all sorts of stuff, man. Why? Because you've had all these different partners and your pH balances is off and you're not supposed to be doing that. So the Lord punishes you with that shit. And your cooch is funky. It smells terrible. It's discovering your secret parts, man. And also hitting you with breast cancer. Because a lot of you go through the process of getting abortions, and you don't kill so many children. Well, what's the purpose of your breast? It's to nurture a baby and feed a baby. So you live that lifestyle like that, eventually you're going to get hit with breast cancer. You're going to get them chopped off, man. So keep living wickedly if you want to, but the Lord is beginning to, he's right on Eve's heels, man, because I just watched this lesson. From the elder from GMS Dedication. Okay, it's this title, A Time to Go Natural. Trump's tariffs are about to make it unbelievable for Eve. Okay. And which will also help inspire this lesson as well, because as I was watching the lesson, I was watching it and looked at the clock, and the clock said 11:44 while I was watching, and then I got cut off on the road, and take a look at the license plate number that I recorded. You see that? It says WWW6666. And I was already kind of vexed in the spirit about Eve, and from the wicked women I dealt with, wicked BM and shit like that. And I seen that lesson popped up, watched it at 11:44, and then seen this plate cut me off. So I was already praying that the Lord begin to judge these wicked women and get on Eve. And then I seen this too. For me, that W is a wicked, wicked, wicked woman. 6666, man. Which that number 6 goes into, accepting the beast system, and impending can also mean judgment. Judgment, man. So that's a lot of dark connotations with that number 6. And see that 4 times in a row, followed by all these W's, So W is the first letter for the word woman. You know, it goes to show that the Lord is getting ready to judge Eve heavily, man. Because taking away, you know, the beauty supply stores and hitting that where they can't afford to get the stuff that they want to, hey, it's going to start humbling Eve. You know? Going back to the judgment was getting ready to come to you Israelite women. It says, verse 18, in that day Yahweh will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon. Okay, so all them implants, you know, them curves, round, just talk about them round tires like the moon. You know, you were so proud about your figure and your body. All that stuff's about to be smitten. It says the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, so all them jewelries and stuff like that. A lot of these women, they all collect a whole lot of jewelry. A lot of them have too much stuff that they don't even wear no more. It says the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings. So them weaves, man. Them weaves and extensions and braids and bonnets. All these clothes. The rings and nose jewels. The changeable suits of apparel. So a lot of y'all can look in your closet right now. Your closet's fucking overflowing. You can't even close it. You can barely fit anything else up to hang up in your closet. You got too much changeable suits of apparels. The Lord's going to take all that stuff. A lot of you have a lot of love for the materialistic items like that. Because why? You love to get attention. You know? It says, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins. The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. Right? So you're going to smell terrible. Especially when the society collapses and everything's too expensive and the stores are cleaned out. There's no deodorant for you to go get. A lot of y'all don't know basic survival stuff and how to go in the wilderness and what you can use to make your own soap and deodorant. Y'all don't have that knowledge and don't care to learn it. You know, so you're going to stink. And when you stink, you also comes with infections. You're going to get yeast infections. So you're going to be in a lot of pain. You're going to be sick. You know, you're going to be on your cycle. You have no way to cleanse yourself. There's not going to be no pads or toilet paper for you to shove up in there to collect that blood. So that's also going to bring even more stench and more illnesses because you're walking around with unclean clothes and blood all running down your leg. These are the things, the times that we're coming in, man. It says instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness. So a lot of y'all right now, you're already going through the process of losing your hair. And as a woman, you should have a head full of hair. And it should be long. And so instead of a stomacher, a girdling of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. Right, man? So all that stuff is going to be taken from you. It says, thy men shall fall by the sword and thy mighty in the war. So all these wicked, you know, niggas and these thugs these bad boys you wanted to chase to go get, and you did good men wrong for, you know. You went and go with these no good ass thug niggas and shit like that, you know. Or a man you just thought it was more attractive because it's his stature or height, whatever, and you cheating on your man with. And those niggas, they gonna die by the sword. Yep, you ain't gonna have no men. And they mighty in the war. They're gonna get drafted and they're gonna get shot. That's what's gonna happen. It says, and her gate shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So all you're gonna be able to do is just sit on the ground and sob and cry in a trash bag. Okay? You're not gonna have anything, you know, to cover up with. You're gonna be using whatever resources are available, and you're gonna be trying to hide your figure as much as possible in the times of war to come. These are the times that we are approaching, you know, and living in. This is what's coming. And pretty soon, Walmart has already put out the warnings that there's going to be a lot of empty shelves, man. People are going to be fighting over food. There will be people actually hungry this time. So reality is going to kick in, and y'all going to know and wish that you had a men of the Lord. Because we're going to have our light shining, and we're going to be good. Okay, this is the book of 1 Corinthians 3, verse 17. If any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy, for the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple ye are. So you are walking temples. Okay, you shouldn't be destroying that temple with poisonous extensions, synthetic hair, or spiritually demonic as, hair, all natural hair, cut off the head of somebody else and you sewing it into your scalp. That's unclean. You shouldn't even want to touch it and put it on your own head, on top of your hair. No. Let your hair breathe, put some natural oils and certain fruit juices in your hair. Let it grow. Rice water is a very good, benefit to hair. Use that. Batana oil, another good one. There's a lot of different things you can do. Black castor oil, coconut oil. Put them oils in your hair. Good, really good quality shampoo. But y'all be defiling yourselves with all this synthetic stuff that's bullshit, that's poisonous and toxic. Or you putting somebody else's hair that's been cut off their head and putting it in yours. It's just nasty. So the Lord is beginning to judge Eve within the first part of that list. Smiting with the scab of the crown of the head. He's hitting these beauty stores that y'all put on such high regard. We're going to take it away, man. So it's going to begin to humble Eve and force her to go natural when she's supposed to be any damn way. So Lord's will, this lesson was edifying, though. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, the bonus to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught your truth the will, and cite us who hold like which is truth and honest sincerity. Shalom.